Welcome to another episode of Love Notes.
All nurses to the nurses station.
This is Taquita Love, a nurse and a comedian.
You think you could bring your brother the clear machine home? You know, the reviver.
And I'm talking to my funny friends about medical mishaps.
Clear!
You are listening to Love Notes.
I see your name is Mike Head.
Yeah.
Is that your stage name?
That is my real name, Miss Love.
Last name Head.
Last name Head.
I'm just gonna, I know I'm not trying to, Hey,
No, hey, it is what it is. Like you're the first person to ask me that.
I'm pretty sure it's not hard for you to ask. Okay, I'm being naughty. I don't even know you like that to have those conversations. But Mike, you go by what? Comedian Mike Head? Just Mike Head?
Yeah, I just go by Mike Head. That's
Okay.
it. That's my stage name.
Master's degree, mental health man, comedian, impersonator, all of that.
All of that. You make it sound good though.
You gotta, you do a lot. Y'all welcome Mike Head to Love Notes. Why are you laughing?
Because you said YouTube sensation. I got like 100 subscribers.
I got 20. So to me, you are a sensation.
That's hilarious.
So unlike most of my guests on Love Notes, me and you have not met in person. We don't have any like comedian stories or, we met on Instagram. And I honestly can say, me being a nurse and working during the pandemic, I'm working from home, but needing the comedic relief, it don't necessarily have to come from myself. And when I saw your Instagram videos of your impersonations, there was one of Will Smith and there was one of Morgan Freeman. I was like, yo, this dude is ridiculous. And I think it was just a repost. And I reached out to you and was like, yo, how you do that there? And now you on my podcast. So thank you for taking the time to, chop it up with me. Actually, get to meet me and get to know me.
For sure.
And I look forward to learning more about you. So tell us what your comedy journey was like. Yeah, it could be in a nutshell on, how you started and your evolution. I know you had some big milestones in comedy already.
Mhm.
So if you don't mind sharing those and bring us up to speed to where you are now.
It's just been it's definitely been a learning process. It's been a lot of, as just like ups and downs, just like super high moments and super low ones. I think the first time I stepped on stage was like 2006. And then I kind of like chilled because I really didn't want to become a comedian at that point. I just did it because I wasn't playing basketball no more and I had nothing else to do, And so, and I got married that next year, 2007. And so I really was not like all serious and hitting open mics because I was like, I had a daughter at that time. I was 4. I just got married. About to have another baby. I was working and it was just like, I'm gonna just try it and do it every once in a while. And then she left me.
Okay.
And so
okay.
and then that's what started me doing the comedy. So like she left and I, got shared custody of the kids. And then I was just like, man, what am I going to do? Like, what do I really want to do? And so I started kind of like hitting the clubs and the open mics. And I really kind of like fell in love with it. I started doing the acting. I started getting into theater. And it just kind of like, just kind of snowballed after that. Like one of the biggest milestones. Well, I've had a few. Like I know in 2013, which is a while back, I was one of the finalists in the first Comedy Wings competition at the American Black Film Festival.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, and so I got to meet Zainab, which you probably know Zainab, and she won first place,
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
yeah, and I lost by like 2 points from what you know some of the judges told me. So I was almost there, but it was still a great experience, man. Just like I was performing in front of like Spike Lee and Sanaa Lathan was there and Nia Long, and they was all laughing. I'm just like, they
Oh
laughing at my jokes. I'm like, this crazy. So it just was, I've got to meet Bob Sumner. I'm sure you know Bob and or
yeah,
have
of
met
course.
him. And so just meeting all of those people it just kind of like blew my mind. Like I saw Sally Richardson and just like was gushing over her. I'm just like, wow, all of these, this is like Black Hollywood at its finest. You know what I'm saying? And it was just kind of just blew my mind.
Mhm.
And then actually Bob helped me get into With This Ring, that movie, Lifetime movie with Jill Scott and Gabrielle Union, Regina Hall, um, and all of them. And I had a scene with Regina, and that was crazy. That was a big, yeah. That was like because I had never met her, and then they just sat me down in front of her and was just like, okay, just ad lib, and I was like, wait, what? I'm like,
Yes.
but you want me to with who? With her? Like she's a pro at this. This is my first movie. Like, and so yeah, that was an experience, man. That was like a real high for me just to go back and forth with her on screen. Um, and lately, just like this past year alone, I was a finalist on for the NBC Stand Up for Diversity, whatever. I don't know if they still call it that, but whatever. Yeah, I was a finalist for that. That was yeah, that was a real highlight, but I did not do well in the finals.
Yeah, what year was that?
That was 2019. That was the end
Okay.
end of 2019. Yeah. Yeah, right
Okay.
in November. Yeah, November. Yeah, November 2019.
Okay. You made it further than me.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy, though? I feel like a lot of people that I've met, their comedy journey, very few people that I meet, it's kind of like, oh, I was a comedian out the womb. And those people, you see them and they're always on. But my comedy journey was different too. I did not want to be a comedian. It wasn't like something that I was like funny. I was an awkward kid growing up. I wore
Mm,
glasses. I didn't need them.
mm.
I was one of those. Um, and comedy kind of fell in my lap. It was one of those
Yes.
things where like I was a nurse, a travel nurse. I was in LA, didn't know anybody, was an introvert, took an improv class. Improv class turned into doing sketch writing. That was Second City, then UCB. And
Mhm,
when I performed, people weren't, people did not give me praise about my acting or my character work. It was
mhm,
my stories. They was like, "Oh, that story you told about when your friend left the keys in the car and
mhm.
made you have to, climb in the window. That was funny, girl." Like it would be those moments, and then I realized that that was my angle. Like my life is funny, and
Mhm.
the stories that I. So it was just one of those things that like I got there at some point, and it was like I could curse a doctor out on stage. I can't do that at work.
Right.
And I also think, something you mentioned was there is a sense of like go time when you go through a loss. And a loss,
Mhm.
grieving, relationships change. And I think a lot of people do go hard, and it's kind of like the survival skills or like in your body. It's like, I gotta take care of me. Um
Yes.
so, I know you skipped over, the reason why she left, and we not here for that.
That's hilarious.
But I think it's dope. You did have really great milestones in comedy, and then, up to now, I saw you on the internet, and it was like, this is where we at right now. Like the
Mhm.
internet can change your world
Yeah.
comedically.
Yeah. 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 And I didn't even want to do like impressions, to be honest. Like I was the one that was just like, because I love your sense of humor. Like I watch your videos, and I love your delivery and your stage presence, and it's
Thank you.
mine is, it's not like, how you see some comics and they just like way over the top, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just, that's just not what I gravitate towards.
Yeah.
I'm real laid back like yourself on stage, and it's about, for me, the structure and delivery and, all that, the technicalities of a joke, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, and so I forgot where I was going with that point. What was we talking about?
We were just about the comedy journey, and you kind of was talking about how what your style is, and how you got into impersonations,
That's
which you kill.
right.
And if I don't, yeah, you kill them, and I'll be like,
Yeah, and you know what? And that's what I was talking about. I forgot. I got a short term memory loss. But yeah, I didn't even like really. It was just something to to do, to like have a online presence, because everybody was like, you got to make videos, you got to make, and I was just focused on the writing and the just being a comic, and just like, this is what and everybody's like, no, you got to do this, you got to you got to do sketches, and I'm like, I don't want to do sketches, like that's not me. And so I started doing the impressions, and people was just like, man, you sound like some of these people. And I would just do them like in my everyday life. I would just imitate people, or just, somebody at my job, or, something I saw on TV. And then I was just like, all right. So I started doing the videos, and people was like, man, this crap is hilarious.
yes.
And I was just like, all right, well, I guess I'll start doing them and putting them out there. And yeah.
Okay, how mentally do you prepare for is it something that just come out naturally? Do you study the people intensely, or like what do you pick up on when you do the impersonations?
For me, I have to get their mannerisms down. Like, not just their voice. The mannerisms really put me into like the headspace of being them. You know what I mean? Like their little habits. Like when I do Idris, like I always like, I'm rubbing my beard, or he always is like very deliberate in how he talks. He's just pausing. He's squinting all the time, and all that kind of stuff. Like, so I take all of those into account. It's not just the voice. So that's what really helps me. Like, I study everything about them. I look at their interviews. Yeah, and then I just keep doing it until I hear it. It's almost kind of like singing. Like, you got to get that, like, that pitch,
Hmm.
and then it just kind of comes together, and I throw it out there and try
Okay.
it. Yeah.
To you, what's your best uh impression, or who do you nail the best to you?
Um. The
And I
e
hate to say nail, I'll rephrase that. Like, who do you emulate best when
you,
you do your impersonations?
I think the natural one for me, the most natural one for me, where I can just kind of like just do forever in conversation, is Judge Mathis and Idris. So, uh, like, I can do them just in regular conversation, and
So
without really thinking too much.
so if I wanted to ask Mike Head as Judge Mathis a question,
Go for it.
Judge Mathis / Mike Head, comedian extraordinaire, YouTube sensation, Instagram star. What do you think about the COVID situation in America right now?
Ma'am, I'm not taking the vaccine. That's my whole thing. Did you see that lady pass out on national TV, ma'am? Did you see that? She passed out. I'm not taking the vac. That's just not, I'm not gonna do it. I take cod liver oil, Hennessy, and apple cider vinegar, ma'am. That keeps away the COVID. That's all I need.
Okay, all right. I ain't mean to put you on the spot, but I meant to put you on the spot. Okay. Okay, you ain't mentioned nothing now. Nail crackhead. I'm so proud of you, Judge Man. Oh my God, that was so dope. Yeah, so that just came naturally. Y'all, if y'all don't know this man, my kid, you will know him. You should know him. I found him, and I'm happy I did. And what would be like the one that your least favorable one that you do?
My least favorite. It's always hard for me to get into my Morgan Freeman voice. Yeah, he has a certain way that he talks, and it's hard for me to get into him. I just started doing Ti, so it took me a while to get him.
When you say a wow, how much time do you think like does it take for you to get like and like body these people?
I'll do them for like maybe 2 weeks before I try them. You
Okay.
know, yeah, 2.5 weeks where I'm just studying and recording myself. You know, just continuing to practice. I kind of like practice on other people to see what they think. You
Okay.
know, so yeah.
That's dope. Oh my God. Like, it's so dope. I felt like Judge Mathis was going to call me a crack. I feel like I was going to get called a crackhead at some point during you. So, is there someone that you want to impersonate that you haven't got down packed yet? Like, who next on your hit list of impersonations?
You know what? I don't know, man. Like they just randomly come to me. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And I have to stay within like I said, it's like singing. I got to stay within my range. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people don't realize like the people I impersonate, they like Idris, Barack, Tracy Morgan, Morgan Freeman. They're all within my like pitch and my range. I just adjust my voice just a little bit,
Hmm.
and it just makes a difference. But they sound so different, but at the same time, they're really not. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah.
And I saw that you do the sexiest man alive. I don't think he's ever gonna call me. Can we get a taste of that a little bit, just a little bit, if you don't mind? I know I'm putting you on blast, but
No, no, no. That's quite all right. So, you're a very, very beautiful girl. So, I don't think that you should ever be, insecure about me calling you. So I'm free to come over and have some tea. Um, and I love that your last name is Love. So that's very sexy. And um, you know, we're both dark skinned individuals. I think we can, make something happen. So
bam. Okay, well you better stop. That's enough. It's daytime. Uh, no, but no, dope, super dope. How do you incorporate these impersonations in your stand up, or have you done that yet? Because I haven't had a chance to see you live.
um,
Uh,
I honestly, you may catch one impersonation out of me in a set, in a feature set or a headline set. Like I really generally don't do
okay.
them. Like I have a joke where I incorporate Morgan Freeman into one of my jokes, and
Okay.
I used to do Barack a lot. When he first got elected, like I had a whole like 10 minutes on that dude. But now, I mean, like even back then, like I was only doing it a couple times. I just generally just don't do it. I just kind of rely on I just love writing jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah.
Um, what I know that you mentioned some of your highlights in comedy being making it to the finals and the NBC Stand Up for Diversity. Was it the finals that you made it to? Yes, right.
Yeah, yeah.
And also in 2013, being a finalist in the ABFF Comedy Wings Comedy Festival
Hmm.
or competition. What was, the lowest moment in comedy? It could be a bomb story or just one of those moments where it was like, is this something I should continue doing?
um, I would have to say, uh, I think last year the NBC finals. That was like, I think that was my lowest point.
Mhm.
I was really super, and I didn't even really have to win. I just wanted to do well, and I didn't do well at all.
And
Um,
why do you think you didn't do well? And what is not doing well to you?
um, so like in the semifinals, like I knew, like that not being aired, like I knew I was gonna go to the finals. Like I just, I, I crushed it. Like I was
Mhm.
just like, I have to go. I was like, if I don't, I know I laid it all out there, and like whatever, you know what I'm saying. I just know I smashed that night, and it's just like that's something that I've had to like tell myself because I'm all people always get on me about being too modest and stuff like that. And I just was like, because I just now, I'm like you, I was like real awkward and shy and just like,
Mhm.
for most of my life. But I went to the finals and I was the first comic on stage after the host. And,
Okay.
nobody wants that first spot.
Not at all.
And so I was pissed about that. But I was just like, I'm going to go up here and, kill him. I'm going to try to go up here and kill him. And so people just were like, it was an industry crowd. It was a lot of agents and just like comics that was just like coming to check out the show. It wasn't like a regular like club show. So that energy wasn't there. And I'm trying to give them the energy, and I just wasn't getting nothing back. I was just like getting chuckles and like a few laughs here and there. And in the finals, you only get 7 minutes,
Yeah.
and so you can't dig yourself out of a hole in 7 minutes. And so,
You can.
I mean, you can, but that's very like when you get up there, you say, "Hey, what's up?" Trying to set the premise for your first joke. That's 2 minutes off the clock right there. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the 5 minutes to like try to kill him,
Yeah.
and it just didn't happen. And so,
Do you think you were in your head about the response that you got from the audience?
I definitely got him after like the first 2.5, 3 minutes. I was like, yeah. I said I ain't gonna be able to do nothing. Like
Mhm.
it's over. And I could just feel like I'm not gonna win. Like I was just talking to myself like this is bad. I was like I'm the first comic, and so I was trying to give him energy, but like because when I emailed my set, like you had to transcribe your set, and
Yeah.
like they emailed me back, and it was just like, oh, these jokes are gonna kill, and I was like, oh, okay, like cool, like, and it just did not happen, man. I did not get
Okay.
any, and I left the stage after I got off the stage and was just walking down the street of LA like with tears in my eyes, just like just I was so broken. Oh,
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
that was at the Improv, the Hollywood Improv. Is that where?
yeah, man. Oh, it was
But
horrible.
but do you think that you got anything out of it? Because in my experience, I have relationships with people that I met in line at the NBC
Yeah.
diversity diversity competition or festival. Like,
Yeah, it was like it's a great opportunity um to get in front of those people. Like, I met some agents out there. Like, even though I had a bad set, an agent still approached me and she
yeah.
just was like, I liked you. You were my favorite comic. And I was like, what? I said, stop. I said, I couldn't have been your favorite. Cause she was like, yeah, I like, she just enjoyed my material.
Mhm.
And so me and her still talk. We haven't started like working together, or she hasn't signed me or whatever, but she was just real impressed by, I guess, my set or whatever. So that was definitely a plus. And just being able to go and step foot on NBC studios
Yeah.
and talk to casting directors and stuff like that was super dope.
Yeah, it's life changing. Like I feel like you don't know what the setup will be or what the payoff will be in the future,
Yeah.
but that exposure, those opportunities are something definitely that sometimes I know that we want things. Like it's like I want that. And then it's kind of like it may not be that time for you to get that, but you don't know what you did will prepare you for what's next. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's the hard pill to swallow in the moment, but when you look back on it later and like you accomplish goals that you set for yourself, and it'll be like, oh, if I never did that set at that particular place and met that particular person who vouched
Mhm.
for this particular project, I wouldn't be filming this. Like it's one of those things where everything connected.
Yeah, yeah.
I had an experience similar to yours. I did Big Sky Comedy Festival
Mm,
last year,
okay.
and it was one of those things where I did make it to the finals.
Mm,
I had sets. I had like one set, it was horrible. I have my tried and true material. Like I know this hit, I know this pause, I know this look, I know
mhm,
this stance. And the audience was different than what I was used to.
mm,
It was in Billings, Montana.
mm.
Not all of my jokes were relatable to the audience. But I made it. One of the running jokes was there was I was like one of the only Black women. I think I
Mhm,
was the only Black woman in that comedy festival at
mhm,
that year. And there was another Black woman who was working with the group, like she was doing tickets and those type of things. And everybody thought that we were the same person, so it was just like, they were just like, she was like, "Girl, I got 20 people that said I killed it tonight," and she was like, "And they thought I was you," and I was like, "I had 20 people ask me for tickets, and I just got off stage," like,
That's hilarious.
um, but it's so crazy because I didn't win. And I shared the stage with like very great comedians. I met so many people, but I have relationships now with managers and agents, casting directors, and I didn't, you go home and you think you lost, but then, this is a year later, and I'm booking, and, I have a different type of relationship with people that I would have never met in any other circumstance. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
we share more than just being chocolate, We and I know that you use your voice a lot. How do you keep your voice, in the range and all those things? Do you have any like remedies for your, to keep it?
I don't. I ain't gonna sit up
You
here in
don't drink
front.
tea?
I'm not really a tea drinker. I really have never drank tea. Uh, but yeah, there's no thing that I do with my
Okay,
voice. Actually,
I'm just
yeah.
like I just got it. I just woke up like this. What? I'm just rubbing my beard and giving them all whoever they want. Will, Idris, Morgan, who want to get it? Any unexpected trips to the emergency room recently or crazy?
Yeah. I actually had COVID, so
The
um,
Rona?
yeah, I had the Rona.
Which okay, so I think, and this is not in any way to to like diminish or minimize anybody that has dealt with COVID-19, the Rona. Do you think that people have different names for it based on how severe they get it?
um,
'Cause
yeah, I had the Rona. I didn't have COVID-19. Like I'll say that. Like COVID-19 to me is like that's the real deal. But
Mhm.
I had the Rona.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I did have to go to the emergency room one night. I
You still got it? You clean? You good?
just lasting effects. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That's
okay.
all.
So okay. The side effect.
But yeah, I started feeling funny one day, and I was just like, man, like, cause I used to have anxiety attacks and stuff like that, so I would get like dizzy and lightheaded and stuff like that, and that's what it felt like. I was like, dang, I ain't had one of these in a long time. Like I must be stressing, but it was like it lasted all day. I was like, damn, like what's going on? And the next day, I woke up cold sweat. My bed was just soaked. Like
Oh
and my
wow.
fever just shot up. And for the next 2 weeks, I had a fever on and off for the next 2 weeks.
Did
And
you take your temperature, or you just knew that you had a fever?
oh yeah, I took my temperature. I was taking it every day. You know,
Okay, that's a grown man. You got tools in the house. Okay.
Yeah, man. And so I had a temperature for the next 2 weeks. I was nauseous. I lost some weight.
Mhm.
Um, I wasn't really coughing, but my body was like super sore. It felt like I played in like an NFL game like every day because my back, my neck, legs, everything was sore. Then the second week, my chest started to be sore. Um, like the aches and pains that I was having was creeping around from my back to like the on the outside of my lungs. And so
Oh
when I
wow.
when I exhaled, um, it was kind of sore. And so my doctor was like, "Yeah, you need to come to the hospital." So
When you say sore, is it like was it like tightness where you felt like you could only get so much air, or
see,
what's
yeah, that's the thing. It wasn't to where I wasn't getting enough air. It's just it was a little bit different that I think people were experiencing. Because
Mhm.
I really because come to find out I wasn't having any breathing problems. It was just the muscles in my chest and around my
Mhm.
lungs were
Okay.
sore. It wasn't
Okay.
actually the COVID wasn't affecting my lungs like it
Mhm.
has some people. It was just the muscles. And so when I exhaled, it was sore. It felt like somebody had punched me in my ribs.
Okay.
And so the doctor had to check to make sure I didn't have, I guess, the pulmonary embolisms or I don't know if I'm saying the right thing, but so
The infiltrates in your chest,
yeah,
like a chest X-ray to make sure it didn't like take over your lungs.
yeah.
Okay, that's
So
the nurse in me crap out, y'all. The infiltrates on the X-ray. Thank you.
um and so yeah, the doc had to do an EKG and chest X-ray and all that other kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
and then they hours later they let me go.
Hey, that's a good feeling. Did,
Yes.
did they give you the hydroxychloroquine?
No, they did not. They just gave me some asthma stuff, some like albuterol or something like that, and told me to,
Okay.
take a puff of that every couple of hours or something.
Did it help?
I did it for a little while, but it really didn't help. It
Okay.
was more so the Aleve and the Tylenol to help my chest stop hurting and stuff. So it
Okay.
took those body aches away.
What was it like to go to the emergency room when it happened? Was it like what everybody thought it was like, where people were just like all over the place? Because I envision, like a scene from like a horror movie when the way that they describe it on the news. And I haven't been to an ER, during the COVID-19
hmm
era. So was it as bad as the media made it seem to be when you?
When I walked in, I didn't see all of that. Like the people in the hospital beds lined up against the wall, and people scrambling around. Because I mean, because when I went in, they didn't put me like on a COVID floor, so it might have been like that. They put me in one of the rooms that they have on the lower level. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So after they triage you or whatever. But yeah, it wasn't like crazy or nothing like that. I know the girl that was checking me in, she was like listening to her AirPods, and I came in and she was just like some young chick, and she was just like, okay, have you been exposed to COVID within the past 14 days, blah blah. And then I was like, yeah, I got COVID right now. She backed up so fast. like like
Why am I envisioning her smacking her weave
Oh
like
yeah,
from
that's
the
what she was
door?
doing. She was, patting on the right side of
Oh,
her head. You know what I'm saying? Opening and closing her hand. She had the long nails.
oh
Yeah.
my God. No, don't do that to my medical professional.
Oh, well, she was like security. She was just, like checking people in at the front door.
Oh,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying? So yes, yeah. Just whatever you thinking, that's how
Like
she looked.
I imagine Smoky Mama from Friday, based on your description, was like, make it enough.
Yep, pretty close. Pretty close.
Uh,
Yep.
okay. All right. Man. And so the interactions with the nurses and doctors, do they seem scared and like it wasn't as bad as people made it seem? Because I was terrified. I'm
Um,
like, I ain't going to know. I'm like, I didn't leave my house for months.
oh
Low
yeah.
key.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
people. I mean, it's. the doctor was serious about it. Like the head doctor, when he came in, he was just like, "Yeah, you're not going anywhere." He was like, "Your chest is hurting." He was like, "Nope, you're not going." He was like, "You're gonna stay
Okay.
right there." Like he had a serious look on his face, and which kind of scared me a little bit, you know.
Mhm.
Um, so, but yeah, I'm just like you said, I'm just thankful that I did not have to be on a respirator,
Yes.
because people are saying like if you have pre-existing conditions, you know you at and it probably you probably are at greater risk. But I got friends and I knew people that like perfectly healthy and
Mhm.
they just it's took them out. You know what I mean? Like it's they were in the hospital like on ventilators, guys my age that are not overweight or diabetic. And yeah, man, it's crazy, man.
Yeah. But no, I'm just happy that you're good. Other comedians that I had on the show, I know Ronnie Perry, he
Mm-hmm.
had COVID and recovered.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw that DL Hughley passed out on stage, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I ain't trying to do no shows. I'm scared. I brought my own mic to
Yes.
do shows,
Yes.
and it was just it's one of those things where it's kind of like we can't control it,
Nah,
you know?
you can't. You just
Yeah.
gotta be extra. Because I don't know everybody's just like, do you know where you possibly caught it from? Were you in a group? I was like, nah, I wasn't around like a bunch of people. I was trying to be cautious. You go to the gas station, you taking money from people, just regular everyday stuff. And I don't know where I got it from. Like,
Yeah,
but
I'm rubbing
yeah.
hand sanitizer on my hand right now just because I'm like, oh, time to sanitize. Um, did you do all the precautions before you just like if you could give us a comparison before you caught COVID versus after? Do you like as far as wearing a mask, wearing gloves, face shields,
Yeah.
all those precautions, did you do it as extreme as you did like before you caught it versus after or any changes? Um,
The only change was I stopped going to the gym. Uh, so I was originally before I caught COVID, I would go to the gym maybe like twice a week. I didn't want to go
mhm.
like every day or because there's germs in there or whatever. There's germs everywhere, but so I would go to the gym like real early in the morning when nobody was there.
Okay.
And so I I wouldn't have to be around people, breathe space, and touching everything that somebody else touched. And so that was the biggest change for me. I would just work out at home right now, cancel my gym membership or whatever. But as far
Mhm.
as like the gloves and the mask and thing, yeah, I got sanitary wipes in the car. I got the hand sanitizer, the mask, 3 or 4 masks in the car. When I get in the car, I'm wiping down my phone, wiping down my
Mhm.
steering wheel, wiping down my hands after I go to the gas station and fill up.
Okay.
Just all of that stuff, man. And now, like, I have my own set of gloves, like, and I go out. When I go out, I put hand sanitizer on my gloves. Like when I come, like literally when I walk into Sam's Club, Walmart, they got the little Purell thing station. I rub it on my gloves. You know what I'm saying? So because you taking your gloves off, like when you get it, eventually you got to touch them gloves and take them off, and you might
Yeah.
touch your face. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. I think, I did all the precautions. First, my first precaution was staying at home. And then I just Instacarted everything and kind of did everything. Then I was like, I need to get some fresh air. My dog was mad. He was barking, like, take me outside. Like, I took him for walks, but we didn't do like hiking and like I didn't go to the beach or do like the California stuff that we can do.
hmm
And then I started to do that more with more precautions. But I feel like some people, I ain't gonna say overdid it, but don't wear the mask and gloves and stuff properly.
hmm
Because I was FaceTiming my mom and she was in Home Depot, and she had everything on, and she had on a face mask, she had on a hat, she had on one of those N95s and then had another mask on top of the N95 and had like a lab coat on top of her jacket. Um, and like, and she was doing too much. She had the gloves on. and did everything. And she said, she's like, baby, I feel like I'm a faint. I said, because you got too much stuff on. Like, when is, when is it too much? Because I'm like, I made the mistake too. I had so much stuff on. I had the face shield on in a meeting with 2 masks. And every time I talked, I felt like I sounded like an astronaut because because it was like I got winded because I'm like, I got plastic protecting me. I got a N95 filtering me. I got another mask on top, a colored one, so it didn't look, so my skin could blend. And I was in there like, dang, it's a lot. That's all. It's just a lot. I can't wait till the world is back up and running. What you think about the vaccine?
I don't know, man. I think it just came out too quick, bro. Like,
Okay.
I'm just real unsure about it. I mean, of course, the government is going to back you into a corner and make you take it eventually, just in indirect ways. I feel, they're going to restrict people from coming into. I think like games, sporting events, flying, just stuff like that or employment until you have taken, this vaccine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that, there are no side effects to, this vaccine, and that they've taken the time to make sure all the kinks is out, man.
Yeah.
So
When you got tested for COVID, which test did you do? The PCR one or the nose swab? Like
I did what is the PCR one? What is
I
that?
think it's the one where they do your blood to see if
Oh,
you got the antibodies.
no, I didn't do the antibodies. I did the nose swab. Yeah.
Did that, was it as painful as people made it seem?
Well, I went through the CVS Minute Clinic, drive through. So you get the
Oh, so
swab.
you knew you had it when you went to the ER.
Oh yeah. When I went to the
Okay.
ER, like I already,
You
had
already
it for a week. You know what I mean? Like I had been
okay.
tested and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
but yeah, the second day that I felt like crap, I was just like, I need to go get tested. So, I swabbed myself, because you do it like right in the drive-through, and I didn't even stick it in my nose deep. I just like did around the immediate, nostril. I was just like, man. Because I was like, I'm not going deep down in my nose. I'm not doing that. And so 2 days later, they emailed me with my results, positive. And it's like, no, you can't like misconstrue that. It's in big red words at the top of your
Yeah.
positive. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I got tested with the nasal swab. I was on set for a project. Um, and it was very uncomfortable. I felt like they did way too much. I felt like they was like taking it out, like something out on me, anger or frustration, because they went all the way up in there. But anyways, I'm back. I'm happy you back to moving. What's next for you? What's next for you comedy wise?
You know what? I'm not even sure, man, because because everything is like opening and closing and opening and
Yeah.
closing, and so it ain't like people was knocking down my door to book me anyway.
Ultimate goals?
Ultimate goal, um, I am going to probably go back to taking some acting classes because I am passionate about acting. I love doing it just as much as I love doing comedy. Um,
Okay.
so, but I mean, of course, I would just like, in a perfect world, love to be in a TV drama series. Not, nothing funny or anything like that because I like, drama as far as like acting is concerned. But
Okay.
definitely want to continue to, do the stand up and tour and stuff like that. Coming out with a podcast, most likely at the top of the year.
Or what could you see yourself on right now?
What could I see myself on? I like Queen Sugar. I don't know if you ever watched that.
I have
Yeah,
in the beginning stages, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I like Queen Sugar. What else did I watch? It's so man, I've seen so many. I couldn't watch P Valley. I'm sorry.
What?
I
I
just
love P
oh
Valley.
my God, that was
Stop.
horrible to me.
Oh,
Everybody,
baby, I just needed the ratchetness in my life,
I,
maybe.
I think that's what it is. I think everybody has this like ratchet bone in their body that just needs to be tickled every now and then. And it's like my sister love it. A good friend of mine, she loves it. I'm just like, I couldn't watch it. I was just like, this is, I mean, besides them, the strippers, like that was it. I couldn't, I just didn't enjoy it.
The acting or the storyline or what? Just
I think I couldn't get past the acting to me,
oh, okay,
and just this
okay.
the storyline. It was just a lot of it was just mad cheesy to me. You know what I mean?
I loved it.
It-
And I can't see myself in that in like a P Valley,
no, you
but
couldn't. You couldn't do the P Valley.
I would. I ain't gonna lie. It's 2021. Yes, bring it now. It was just uh it probably was like the ratchetness that was missing in life from being stay at home on lockdown, like
Right.
but I loved it. I was like, I couldn't,
Really?
I binged it and it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. But I love Grey's Anatomy and
Okay.
Station 19.
Okay.
I've been watching that and For Life.
Okay.
Have you seen any of those?
I haven't seen any of those. I
Okay.
loved. I'm mad that they got rid of Shades of Blue with Jennifer Lopez.
Okay.
Um,
I ain't watched that
oh
one.
man, that was so good. Uh,
Okay.
I had a little, my guilty pleasure was Greenleaf. I don't know if you ever.
Oh, I love Greenleaf. Oh,
Yeah,
I was so mad. Oh,
yeah, yeah.
that pastor. He played a pastor and everything, don't he? He always
Yeah, yep, he do.
watch out for you podcast coming soon 2021.
Yeah,
You can see him doing impersonations on Instagram.
yes.
Shout out where people can find you.
Yes, go to my YouTube channel. All you got to do is type in Mike Head is funny, and you will see all of my impressions, a couple stand up videos, um, comedian Mike Head on Instagram. Um, Mike Head is funny on my Facebook fan page. Yeah, and go to my website, MikeHeadComedy.com, and yeah, it links to all of my social media, man. So
All right, that's what's
yeah,
up. Thank you so much, Mike Head, for just taking the time to chop it up with me
for sure.
and dropping some of those impersonations. Hey, 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 hey.
Anytime,
Um,
anytime, young lady, anytime.